Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the internet and of YouTube, and welcome to Final Fantasy Chronicles of Eno. I'm your host and game master, as always, Skajaramas, otherwise known as Toneshift, and with me today we have our full cast of players. We have Hades Shadow 92 playing Thanatos, our male human Dark Knight.
Ships suck.
Lumina Starlight, our next player, would beg to differ, and she plays Rocket, our female cyborg chocobo.
Fucking game day.
Yeah.
It's not game fucking day, that's on Friday.
What? Okay, I don't understand, Lumina.
It's a joke.
Don't.
Okay.
And I am almost concerned to learn the context of that.
Well, I don't know it. So we have Tom117Z playing Neothil, our female Elvon Ranger.
We're going on a trip on a floating ship.
And lastly, we have Darkness playing Alistair, our male human paladin who needs to get into the roll 20 room. Darkness, nudge nudge, wink wink. Woohoo!
Glitch. But hello, I'm here, and it's taken another slow loading. Sorry, it's out of my hands.
Right.
I'm not the load master.
Yeah, that was the wrong button. All right. So,
Wrong button.
yeah, I was doing a thing. So where we last left off, our intrepid band of adventurers wrapped up their business in the city of Vitae following their defeat of the Amber Dragon and getting Emma and Nee to fully reconcile and coexist within the same body for the time being. With Emma reluctantly but willing to take the back seat and let Nee take the wheel for the most part. There was a dream that Neothil had, much like everyone before, where Diablo spoke with her to just ensure that in the coming conflict there were no misunderstandings between them about what was at stake and why each side was doing what they were doing. Not any attempt to change her mind, but simply to make sure there were no misunderstandings. Following that, the party was then summoned to the castle by Rania and Skalala Ithil, Neothil's big sisters, who apparently had something of a surprise prepped, which came in the form of a light, high-speed airship known as the Little Wing. 50 brownie points if you know what that's a reference to.
Thick.
Yep. I was more talking to the audience, but whatever. Excuse me. So, with that taken care of, with the airship accepted and their business in the city thus concluded, our band of adventurers then set off, finally eager at last to return to Marasu with the intent of finding the water crystal of darkness that belongs to Leviathan, to give her word about what happened to Tiamat, the daughter of Bahamut, whom they encountered quite some time ago, being corrupted by the forces of Amber. And so, ladies and gentlemen, that is where we come in. You are aboard the Little Wing, and it has already taken flight, and you are on your way to Marasu. As we figured out last time, it will be approximately a 10-day flight, assuming you take the most direct route.
Well, right now we don't have any reason not to. We know
Right.
what we're doing.
Alrighty.
Crystal.
Alrighty.
You could say it's crystal clear.
Right. Alright. Well then. Is there any interactions you guys want to have on the way?
Can I punt me off the boat?
No, it's my boat. For that.
9. You cannot.
Well, as it is, you begin to move the airship, and it's a surprisingly fast trek. By the end of the first day of flight, you're making good time, still making good progress. You've crossed over both of the big rivers that sort of cut through the eastern side of the Vitaean forest, and you can see the Seraph Stone Mountains off to the west, slowly receding into the distance. The view from way up here is incredible. You can just see for miles and miles, as countless as you can even see just the tips of the Beauty's Edge Mountains from here, all that distance away.
I'm sure Nia is enjoying it immensely, and Thanatos is not.
Yeah, that's about right. Eventually, you leave the land behind and start sailing over the Grand Gateway Bay, the enormous body of water that sort of connects all the various city-states or big port cities of the Confederacy of New Vitaea, as well as many of the other parts of the world, or, of this continent, rather. Serving as this big hub. Looking down periodically, you can always see there's some sea traffic down there, even way out in the middle of it. Very busy with many ships going to and fro. And periodically you pass other airships in the sky, though they seem happy to give you a wide berth.
Hey, Thanatos. When I got aboard the ship bound from Arasu originally, I take it you boarded when we passed by the coastland of Volia?
I mean, maybe. I don't. That was a while ago. I don't remember.
You don't remember how you got on the ship that sunk?
Well, I mean, I might have.
I mean, out of character, I've always imagined the ship went along the coastline and past Volia and ports in Volia and stuff before going up to Marasu. Otherwise, how would have picked everyone else up?
Right,
Honestly,
that pretty much.
Yeah. Honestly, out of character, I don't know how I would have connected Thanatos there because, again, he traveled like all over the place before.
I imagine you just got on at Port in Volia somewhere to go up to Marasu.
Yeah,
to travel
some
around.
small village along the coastline over here.
Yep.
Where I imagine Alistair probably got on like somewhere in the Guardian domain.
He came from
cool.
Animo, so he probably would have come
Okay.
along. He probably would have come from somewhere up in Lapenia.
So like went from Vitae to Volia to Lapinia, then over to Marasu.
And then it sunk.
Where
Yeah.
the final destination after that was going to be Poriton, which was when he was going to get off. Yeah.
Right.
Never made it.
Yep.
But anyway, back in character. Well, remember it or not, have you been to that island on the opposite coastline? I think it's called Komogo?
I do not believe so.
Oh. I think I heard something about it being where the Moogles come from. I'm sure you'd love it.
It is. That is definitely where the Moogles come from. The Mogolarchy of Kumogo.
Burn it.
Hey, the Moogles have met so far have been nothing but helpful.
It's a dark.
Yep.
It's a Dark Knight rule. We have to hate Moogles.
There are two of you. You and also you.
And
You came
considering Caius finds nearly everything annoying and or frustrating, then I'm assuming he agrees with me.
I am not
Again.
participating in this conversation.
Thank you.
So, by the Dark Knight rule, you mean this is a rule you have made up for yourself?
Now you see, Nee, you are a smart little elf. Just gives her a noogie.
You do remember how high up we are, right? And accidents could indeed happen.
Oh.
I mean, you could.
Okay,
But you play wouldn't.
nice. That's Mika.
I'd catch him. I have wings now.
She raises an eyebrow. How long can you hold that?
You
Depends
are
on how
right.
depends on how heavy he is. should exercise more.
which would be very heavy. I don't just mean his heavy armor.
Oh,
Are you calling me fat?
oh no.
Well, to be
We are
fair,
calling you
you do drink a lot
ugly.
of alcohol.
That does not mean anything.
It does.
Ow.
It adds to the weight.
I'll have you know, Mr. Bookworm, that I always keep myself in shape.
Sure.
Unlike some people who prefer to sit in a library all day.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure that's just because you're throwing most of your body mass overboard right now.
That's the only workout he gets besides fighting.
As the awkward silence falls over the airship, you carry on, eventually leaving the Grand Gateway Bay behind, and soon enough, you start flying over islands that look familiar to you. You recognize the general sort of geographical features that you now know, or you can speculate at least, are at least somewhat shared across all of the Mikatine Isles. The almost snow-white rock formations, the expansive green fields, and plenty of trees and shrubbery, the lushness of it all, the plenty of rivers to keep everything saturated with water, and of course all of the tropical elements with palm trees and the like.
Hey, Mika, look, it's the land of your people.
Yeah. Oh.
A land of cats surrounded by water.
Kind of a cruel twist of fate, huh? She sort of turns and leans back against the railing. But it's kind of why the Mithra are the best shipwrights in the land.
Because you're so afraid of getting wet?
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way, but yeah, essentially. We don't want to get
Well,
in the water, so we build our ships to not let us go in the water.
And besides, Vanitas, if you think about it, everywhere's surrounded by water.
And besides
Most
that,
of the earth.
Not
besides
where
that-
I'm from.
And besides that, in the earliest days of Mikatine history, before it all sort of unified and all the various Mithra were just branched off into their different independent and fully isolated tribes on all the islands, getting around on boat was our only way to expand our territory, so we kind of had to get good at that, and there was a lot of fighting as there were a lot of tribes that didn't want to integrate.
Well, don't worry, I'm fairly confident I can land this thing without repeating our first arrival.
Well,
I hope so.
as long as they don't start shooting cannons at us.
Well, we haven't heard anything about another quarantine, so I think we're safe on that part.
Alright, I need to take care of one or two things on the side really quick.
I still think was an extreme warning. Shooting at the bloody ship.
You know, it's weird being back here. Has it really been a year?
Well, close enough. It's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it?
And we're right back where we started.
Though a little better off than back when.
Oh,
so,
yes.
after itself, I would hope.
Well, I would hope so. I hope they didn't have another plague while we were gone.
I doubt it. And even so, they'd probably be better prepared for it the second time around.
Yes, because you can prepare for plagues like that.
Alright. Well, as it is, as matters stand, eventually you bring the airship around. It's around dusk as you're arriving, and the island of Marasu comes into sight. As you look down on it, recognizing certain geographical features that you once saw from the base of them from a distance, such as the big-ass mountain that rises from its core, or the various fields and valleys that at one point you traversed to track down cultists who were bringing barrels of infected meat to try and infect the rivers and indeed the very oceans. You're
No,
overcome by a wave of nostalgia at the sight. And before long, you see, sure enough, the various open-walled, casually and loosely thrown together, very almost lazy-looking city of Marasu, jutting out the
I know
edge of the
one-
coast.
I know one thing. I'm looking forward to see how the two sisters are getting on.
Marisi and Leyland, I have a promise to keep in that regard.
So,
Yeah,
guys,
we've got a lot of people to
where would you
Not
like
to
to
mention a lot
land?
of stories to tell them.
Well,
like plan.
first, like, what are the options dock-wise? What airship docks?
It
I don't think they have any airship docks.
You don't see any airship dry docks, no. But you do have the option to land on the ground somewhere, just not within city limits. So I'll go ahead, actually, and...
I would say the closest we can get to the city.
Hey, if anyone hasn't seen this map. Hey, I see the cookies. We can
go
see
ahead
the
and go ahead and ping where you want to drop the airship.
I mean,
And
it would make sense for us to kind of go down and just.
Either here
Top.
or...
I say it'd make more sense for us to just kind of lower down and tie our ship to the docks.
the docks that are meant for sea boats.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're meant for sea boats. I don't think they welcome an airship.
I mean, you're allowed to
like-
try.
Thing is, but the thing is, like, the boat, it's still like generally. Like, how does this ship work exactly? Because in the lore of Eno, like, the airships are generally still vessel-shaped, like naval, maritime.
Loosely. This one has... It's a lot more aerodynamic, obviously, and flares out a lot more towards the back with these big wing shapes in place of sails. Then it also has the propellers on the front and on sides and whatnot, so... While it has the...
I
I
mean,
was just wondering whether like these things can make water landings, because sometimes, like, in some things they can. I don't know how they work in this. So
I mean,
some ships do have that design in mind. Given the small scale of this one and its intended purpose as rapid message delivery or high-intensity scouting, we'll say, yes, it does have the capacity for emergency water landings, but it's not built to, like, moor to a dock or anything.
that's
I got-
annoying.
I got
I
some
mean,
ideas.
I was recommending either here or maybe somewhere about
I
here.
got some idea.
Because we
I got some
can't.
idea.
If it's in there, we can't. That's in the city.
Anatos, what is your idea?
The palace.
Just land in the
Not
backyard.
on the palace, but
No,
here.
in the courtyard.
How big is the
That's in
courtyard?
the city.
The
Can we
court...
fit it in the courtyard?
You could definitely fit in the courtyard as
Thing
you're
is,
sort of...
I think we might gain a scowl from Fanar doing that.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
we're
it's the...
returning heroes.
They don't know that yet. They could think it's some kind of unknown invasion or unwelcome guest. Do you
So,
want a load of guards pointing weapons at us? No.
So it wouldn't look like that if we just somehow landed in the docks where they're actually.
Wait a minute.
I'll tell you what, let's go to familiar ground and land outside the Chimera and Twin Gates.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
All right. Give me just a
Yeah,
second to drop
evident,
down
but we
a...
could do that. I mean, then the other idea I had, one of us goes and walk it and let them know where to put the ship.
Chimera and
Where-
Twin Gates.
Where's the... I dropped a thing. Does anyone see, like, an airship icon popping up anywhere?
I didn't see an airship icon, I see the
nope.
high location icon on the docks.
I'm trying to drop a thing to indicate where the airship has landed, but it's being annoying with me. Oh, there we go.
I mean, there we
There it
go.
is.
Well, it has a wide
That's
outline.
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be so much of a bad idea. One of us goes and walk it to let them know.
How close to the
It'd
design
be
is
funny.
It's not quite on point. The one that I had in mind was closer, but I couldn't get it to load for whatever reason, so this one I'll have to do. I'll do up the actual design, or at least a rough approximation of it at some point, but this will work in as a stand-in for the location. Tom,
Okay,
you
so-
are free to move that around.
As
Yeah.
it is, or she-
We have a flag.
What have you done?
Now I'm
All
just reminded of Frieza trying to park the ship.
All right. Go ahead and
He's
drop
got
it where you
controls.
want to land. Also,
Hmm,
Lumina
Right there.
didn't know if you were aware, but you are muted.
I knew I was muted.
Okay, just making sure.
Alright.
I didn't have anything to say, and I'm eating.
Okay, fair enough.
Ah,
Alright.
Which I need more chips, so I need to go upstairs. So be right back.
Okay,
okay.
fair enough.
Shame, it would have been pretty funny to see
Alright,
the
we
faces
don't,
of
we
what
don't need to
they're
make a show of this. Landing there.
All right. So, you pull a couple levers at the wheel and you give it a good turn. You bring the little wing around and it starts to lose and bleed altitude as you're coming down. As you're coming down towards this sort of collection of houses outside the Chimeran Twin Gates, you can see plenty of individuals looking a lot more lively than last time you were here, looking up from their homes or from the little narrow streets cobbled between as you're coming in with these sort of wide-eyed looks of surprise like, oh, an airship here? That's unusual. Especially one of that design, because this is a military airship you're piloting.
Of Vitaean make, yeah.
Yeah. Very aerodynamic, very arrow-shaped, very sky-based. After a couple seconds of fiddling with the controls a bit and checking your little rule book on how to land this stupid thing, go ahead and make for me a vehicles check, please.
Oh no.
Oh dear, well, I stuck a point in it.
We're doomed.
7.
We're doomed.
7. That's fine. That's one more than what you needed.
Okay.
All right, so you bring it in and you manage to clinch the landing. And there's a little rock and a little bump as the landing struts sort of extend outwards after you flip the switch and they catch the ship's weight and it settles for a second, wobbles, and then settles and releases some steam from some exhaust pipes down near the back.
So glad we're not repeating the latest episode of The Mandalorian.
I'd give that landing 7.
It was decent.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Marasu.
God damn it.
So lower the ladder again, like whatever it is we used to get down. Assume ladder from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, more of a ramp, but yeah. Sort of it extends out and then lowers and thuds into the grass.
Lock up the ship, whatever measures it has for anti-theft.
Yep. You pocket the key.
I
Makes
doubt
the,
anyone-
makes the car beeping noise when you lock it.
I don't think we need to worry about anybody here even knowing how to steal this thing.
I know one thing.
Yeah, never know.
It's good to see this place again. Who knows, you might bump into another rope, Thanatos.
Oh, I have that covered.
Has Alistair gone down the ramp yet?
Yep.
Well, I push him anyway.
Oh, you want to push?
As they're doing childish bickering on the way down, he's going to hold out a hand to Mikasa. So, fancy a trip home?
I think I do. And she takes her hand and lets you guide her down the ramp.
Aw, aren't you too cute?
So let me just go ahead and reposition the party location icon to where you guys are right now.
You know what, Thanatos, at this point, I'm going to own your thinly veiled insults.
All right.
So, we have a crystal to find. The first person, the ideal people to speak to about that would be Lord Laren, but before that, anywhere else you want to go?
Well,
Mika, I know you're dying to see your family.
Yeah, and I also kind of want
Well,
to talk to Tam,
You
too.
said it was getting dark. as
Yeah,
we're getting ready
it's
to continue.
the sun is setting. It's sunset right now. There's orange rays of light sort of being cast over the city, and while there are more people about than you're used to because the city is not under quarantine anymore, and it looks like it's made great strides in repairing in the several months since you left. You see people kind of you do see plenty of Mithra from this little cul-de-sac you parked near that are sort of watching you with interest.
Alright. Well, we have some catching up to do while we investigate the crystal, so seeing how late it is, how about this? We head to the castle and let Baron of Anar know what's going on, do we can there, and then before turning in we can unwind a bit at the old tavern. See if we can get a bit of a discount for the heroes of Marasu, you know?
The heroes.
I'd be down for that.
I'd probably.
And then Mika sort of nudges you in the side.
And it'd give you a chance to say hi to Oscar.
And anyway,
she gives this mischievous, fang-filled smirk.
Right, Alistair.
As long as everyone doesn't mind, I'll probably catch up. I'm thinking of going to the old bakery place to get a few treats for the sisters.
oh, that'll be fine. Just link up with us at the tavern. Outside the tavern after we're done with the palace, and then tomorrow I'll see about catching up Marisi and Leyland because I want to fulfill my promise to her. Mika can go visit her folks. All the while, we'll see if we can get Tam's help in tracking down where this crystal might be around here.
Fair enough. Well, but best hurry because it's getting sunset and the place could close any moment.
Mika then turns and looks over at you, Rocket, and
Anything you want to do?
She back here from Chips. Yes.
See the kids, maybe.
Trisha and Jerish.
You could visit that old neighborhood with the
Hanging homes.
what was it? Yeah.
It's not a bad idea, though. Maybe that should wait for tomorrow morning. It is getting late. They might be asleep.
Yeah. Either that, or they get distracted with the fact that she could fly if they figure that out. Or she accidentally says that.
Tomorrow we can.
Could we have a
We'll go.
ride?
Well, there'll be plenty of time tomorrow to do all of our own little things. We're gonna be here for a little while, I have a feeling, at least until we find where this crystal is.
Yes.
Because
He does call.
I know, Mickey, you said Leviathan's is around here somewhere, though I'm guessing it's not quite as simple as, hey, let's wander over to this building in this place.
What was that?
guys
What
do
was
you.
that? What was that first thing you said? I missed that, Tom.
She was saying to Mika that, like, Mika had informed them that the Leviathan's crystal was here. She's guessing it's not so easy as there's this building in this place, let's wander into it.
Right. It is a bit more complicated than that. We'll need confirmation from Lee, our side. Permission from whoever's in charge over there. It, like, changes every other week.
Well, we can go on many of those.
Well, I'll see you all at the tavern, I guess. I need to quickly head to the old bakery.
The rest of us are going off to the
Palace.
palace then?
Yes, that way.
You having a rocket with us or him? 'Cause I know
Yeah,
you-
I'm coming.
All right, you heading with Alistair or are you heading with everyone else?
Everyone else.
Alison's
Okay, so Alistair is soloing it to the cookie jar. Gotcha.
bakery.
Yep.
Cookie jar.
Which is right over there, because
Yep,
the icon's
alright.
still there.
All right, so you sort of make your way over to the main street leading into the western Chimeran Twin Gate, and as you're approaching, there's not a whole lot of foot traffic coming in or out, and it looks like the guards are about ready to close up the gate. As you're approaching, they sort of look over at you, and it's like one of them steps forward, and he goes to raise his hand as if to say, hold there, and all that sort of stuff, but then he hesitates, like, hold, wait.
Are these the same guards that agreed us the last time we were at the Twin Gate?
It doesn't look like it, but it does look like they recognize you all the same.
I was
Greetings
gonna make
again.
a joke about scanning magic and stuff, if it was the same ones.
His finger
It may
sort
have
of
been a year, but we have returned.
His finger sort of shifts back and forth between you all for him. It's like, my apologies. Head right in. And he steps aside immediately.
No need for apologies, it's fine.
None of us realized you had an airship now.
I got it 10 days ago.
Oh.
Yep, a lot has happened.
Apologies for dropping in like this. How is the old city?
He sort of straightens up a bit. Looks like he's trying to be professional, but is also failing because he's geeking out in the presence of his heroes.
Okay, interesting.
The city's doing relatively well. The winter was pretty harsh on us, following all of that nasty business with the plague way back. But we're picking up the pieces and putting it all back together. Some parts of the city are still a little banged up, and there's still some signs of damage. The worst is past, though, and things are slowly getting back to normal. The vast majority of individuals who still had the infection when the seed of the plague died have recovered. There were only a few who wound up perishing.
That's good to know. And you can be at ease. My commission is battalion, not.
Right.
Mr.
Sorry.
I have the rank on you.
Right. Sorry. You people saved this goddamn city. And his buddy from the side just sort of looks over at him. Professionalism's on. Right, sorry. And he straightens up again.
It's just another day's work for us.
Nice to know that our work is remembered and appreciated, though.
And never fear, I'm keeping records of this, so once our quest is done, I'm sure to print many copies as possible.
You're still writing that book, huh?
Of course. Including the funny moments.
So do we have to cure a plague every time we want to enter a city without a guard harassing us or making us pay?
Oh dear. And as
We got
Thanatos
into
is rich
Garlat
again.
just fine. And Vitae. And Valia.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a few that, I mean, when Solemn kind of gave us some looks, mostly because of Rocket. And then Alistair's wonderful performance in Cursed.
Ha ha ha. Me and Heat don't get on.
Nee just shakes her head at the ongoing conversation and looks back to the guardsman.
But
Guardsman,
anyway, thanks
I
for
take-
the warm welcome. We have business to do.
Guardsman, I take it Lord Laren is in the city?
Yes, he's still up at the castle as per the usual.
I mean, where
we'll
else
be-
would you be?
We'll be heading straight there if that's quite okay.
Of course, public court sessions ended a couple hours ago, but I'm sure he'll be willing to make an exception for you lot.
You didn't seem to mind last time. Besides, our being here isn't exactly a pleasure cruise. Wish it was.
Of course. I shan't keep you then.
Thank you for welcoming us again. If they require any help, you know who to call.
One last thing. You say the plague has completely dissipated. Has there been any other amber-based reports in the area around the Mikate Islands?
None more than usual.
Or any mysterious figures with a blue robe or anything that looks suspicious?
Not that I've heard.
He's not come back yet. Well,
Is there
Well,
someone
give
in
us a good eye.
Is there someone in particular you're worried about?
Nobody you need to worry about. Come on, guys. Let's go find Laren.
if it becomes relevant, I'm sure Captain Vanal will let you all know.
Of course.
Just keep a keen eye. And don't let the fanboy stuff get to your head.
Right. And with that, you mosey on by. And you step through the
Anything in
Chimeran Twin Gates, and you are greeted to the familiar streets of Marasu. And already the few people... already the few people that are out and about on the street as you're coming in sort of give you looks as you're coming in. First, like looks of surprise because, oh, this is a colorful band of folks. And then, oh shit, I know this colorful band of folks, or I recognize them, or wait, aren't those the guys who saved the city? That kind of thing. So you're getting a lot of recognition. Also, Bird, yes. That's kind of the big thing that tips everyone off because everyone knows it was a cyborg chocobo that was the mascot of the group.
Rocket, you're famous.
So
Which I was expecting her to wear that Phoenix dress for the occasion.
Up to her. If you want to wear it or not.
I mean, I suppose.
Okay, so you're coming in dressed like Phoenix?
I wasn't so sure there was, but okay.
All right, so okay, so it takes a bit longer for people to sort of recognize the group, but like they see, but it doesn't take terribly long. They're like, oh shit, it's them, nice, awesome, you know. But they don't seem to be in a rush to bar your path or hinder you with their eagerness to give thanks or anything like that. They seem to be content to respect your time by just giving grateful nods and then stepping aside as you're passing through, not hindering your progress in any meaningful way.
Feeling festive, Rocket?
Which I'm guessing we're going to split ways about here, since this way leads to the castle and this way leads to, the palace.
If you want to go and get some cookies, feel free. Get some.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or we're, dealing with the whole god business.
Would you also like anything while I'm there?
Get us some cookies.
All right then, cookies it is.
Cookies
Big batch
for
of cookies.
everyone.
Sure.
It won't match my mother's, but it will do.
Mm-hmm.
I may be biased though.
All right. So, all right. So the party splits. We'll deal with the bigger group first, and so we'll get to you in a few minutes, Alistair.
And this is where Alistair was
good,
jumped by a bunch of resurgent cultists and ganked.
I hope not when I return. I'd be right back. My mother's just called me for one little thing.
All right. All right. So, and eventually you come back out onto this thoroughfare that you are very familiar with traversing in all of your runs from the Whiskers Corner to and from the Marasu Palace. And it's nice to be back and seeing things in so much higher spirits.
I wonder what the dock districts are like.
Well, hopefully a little cleaner than the last time we were there.
All right.
Maybe check it out at some point. Maybe that old tavern where you scared the crap out of that one cultist who definitely was not leading us into a trap.
Nudge, wink, wink.
Yes. Or that other one where we first ran into the plague and Rocket gave us away.
Well,
All right.
we'll add that to the list of things to do tomorrow, in whatever order.
All right. Well, eventually you come up to the front sort of gates of the palace that'll lead to it, and as you're coming in, you see that at this point the portcullises have closed. There are a couple guards out front sort of just standing idly. They look up as you're approaching.
Ahem. Guardsman?
One of the two of them look up. One of them looks like he recognizes you with the immediate look. The other one does not. And you're just sort of a palace is closed for the evening. You'll have to come back. And he gets like thumped on the shoulder by his buddy. Dude, do you know who they are? No, should I? He gestures more insistently. You're going to have to help me out on this one. Am I supposed to know who they are?
We killed the giant and the demon.
He squints at you for a minute, and then he hears Rocket giggling. He's like, Oh, I'm sorry. And immediately sort of turns and like just immediately sort of like shunks himself through, sort of like turns and like wraps on the portcullis a couple times, and you see another Mithra poke his head out from the other side. Hey, open her up. We got important guests. At this hour? Just open her up. All right. And couple seconds pass before the portcullis begins to rise.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
All right. And you step in. I assume you're making your way straight inside.
Before we go, yes. By the way, would Lord Laren still be located in the throne room at this time?
At this time, I would probably anticipate him to actually be in the dining hall having dinner before turning in, so...
Could you send a guard to go and maybe inform him and Tam of our arrival? We urgently need to speak with him.
Or we could just find the dining room and raid his table.
We're not raiding anything, Thanatos.
What?
Well, one of us could accompany you.
That would work either way.
Right. The other guard, the one who recognized you, he's like, I'll come along then. Right. And he leads the way into the palace. The door is shut behind you. It's very much the same as the last time you were in here, layout-wise. Looks well cleaned.
Last time we were in the dining hall, Rocket ate a bush.
Oh yeah, that did happen.
Wait, what?
Rocket ate one of the plants in the dining hall.
Right. Okay. That was like the public dining hall, though. This is like the long table, like banquet hall for like the Lord and his guests. Is this guy's leading you to? He takes you through a few halls and corridors and a few archways. You pass patrolling guards on the way, and they let you pass without issue. Before eventually you come to this really nice wooden door, and the guardsman opens it up, and you see this large, very lavish by Morossian standards, dining hall with a high sort of dome-shaped ceiling, plenty of chandeliers giving light, very, modest but still nice rug and carpet set up, and this long polished wooden table with plenty of nice chairs set up around it. And at one end of it, you see, in more casual attire than last time you saw him, Laren Kane digging into what looks to be a big old platter of really nicely seared fish. And he looks up as you're all entering, and he's got his fork in his mouth, so just... Oh. Well, holy hell. And he quickly stands up. My friends, to what do I owe the surprise?
Lord Laren, it's been a while.
It has. And it's good to see you all again. What are you doing here?
Well, we decided to come and see the view, and
That's not quite the case. Right now, I personally am acting under orders of the Vitaean Rangers, and these lot are still following me around, so...
Well then, he straightens up a bit. What can my fair city do to help you?
First, we're not interrupting anything, are we? Because, gestures to the dining table.
He looks at it for some... No, that can wait for a minute. Friends over food.
Oh, can we maybe get Tam in on this conversation as well then? As much as I do like to catch up, there is some business to attend to first.
Of course, he turns to the guard. Tam should currently be in the library tidying a few things up. If you could go get him. And the guard's like, of course. And he turns and scuttles out.
do mages just live in libraries constantly? Or...
Well, he's my court mage, so not only is he the most powerful mage in the city, but it's also his responsibility to manage our archives and stores of information.
Well, his student's no slouch. Kind of nudges Mika.
And Laren nods at her. Ah, yes, and of course, how could I forget Mika Solwyn? It's been a very long time since you've been in the city. How have you been holding up?
Been doing just fine. Been learning a lot.
I'm not going to lie, I thought you were going to be staying at the Academy City.
Things kind of changed. I'm still enrolled there and I'm still learning from them, but I learn better traveling with these guys.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a learning experience.
He glares at Thanatos.
Mika glares at Thanatos.
And he just grins at the two of them.
Of course he does. Well, a couple minutes pass before finally the door opens and a familiar white-skinned Numo walks in. And he looks to everyone and his face brightens up with a big smile. Ah, look who it is. And immediately Mika sprints over and basically tackle hugs him. It is good to see you again, child. And the rest of you.
Okay.
It is very good to see you again as well, Tam. Last time we saw you were showing Mika off to a Nomo.
That I was. I take it things have changed if you're here now.
Yeah, you could say that.
I would love to hear all about it. But I am assuming you're not here for pleasure, knowing you lot.
Well, when we first arrived in this city, he says, kind of getting into business mode. The plague was still ongoing, caused by Amber and Saranj and Leal professing to serve the Lord Diablos. Remember?
Right, I remember.
Well, first things first, we have suspicion. We have reason to believe Saran is still around.
Laren's expression immediately hardens. What?
We do not know for certain, but there's a Mithra mage going around by the name of Murasan, also professing to serve Diabolos. And we have reason. Well, recent events have shown a light that he may be one and the same, resurrected through the power of Amber.
Murasan? Huh, that's a coincidence.
Coincidence?
Laren sort of crosses his arms. Yes, I don't know if you've noticed, but... Well, what's the name of my city?
Barasu. Oh,
Yes.
that's where he got the name. Clever git.
Murasan was, as far as I'm aware, the name of the founder of this city, its first lord.
What?
So whoever you're going against either adopted that name for himself, or someone just really likes Murasan history.
Well, if we are right and it is Saran, then this is the city that he both tried to conquer and where he died. He's been hounding us ever since with a almost obsession.
What makes you so sure that this is Saran? That's Tom.
Like I said, we don't know for certain. He keeps his face very deliberately covered up, but he has displayed aptitude for resurrection magics before, taken from Diabolos himself. As I mentioned, his obsession with us in particular, ever since the first time we met. Murasan, and general other inklings and quirks in his personality, particularly an loathing for even the mention of Saran, as if it's a very personal thing for him.
Troubling. Well, we're willing to help however we can, but I'm not sure what aid we can lend on this front aside from keeping an eye out for this individual.
Well,
We have something else we need you to help us with.
things go a lot deeper. Amber has been spreading to other nations. Deviacorp is now rendered nothing but an amber-filled crater over in Volia.
That's what the explosion in the Suto forest was?
That was Murasan's doing. We were there.
Tam's eyes widen. He created a blast of that magnitude.
He could have killed us. We were in the middle of it, but he brought us out for reasons we're not entirely sure yet. But it links into him being so obsessed with us in particular. For that, Venaldi and Deviacorp scientists were kidnapping animals for infusion experimentation with Amber and Magitech both, overseen by Murasan. And then, most recently, my homeland, Amber demons had erupted and almost took over the city. We were there for that as well. We've been hunting the Amber wherever it may crop up. Murasan there all the while. More than that, we've all spoken to Diabolos.
You have?
He's taken notice of our activities. He's very much alive.
How have
As
you
you-
spoken
then
to
you-
him?
Through dreams.
Dreams.
Visions.
That makes sense.
So you understand why
It does
the
fall
Vitaean
under...
crown...
It does fall under Diabolos's umbrella to use dreams. Everything we know about him points that control over those is one of his powers.
So you understand why the Vitaean crown saw fit to send us this way. Specifically, we encountered the dragon Tiamat in the Amber Caves beneath what's left of Deviacorp.
Tiamat.
She was being consumed by it. At this point has, almost certainly. For her death, she requested that we make contact with the god Bahamut. And to do that, we need Leviathan's crystal.
Lara nods. I see. Then that's why you're here.
We need access to the crystal of light so that we can inform Leviathan and in turn inform Bahamut of both Tiamat's fate and Diabolos' survival. As far as we know, the gods are yet unaware.
Well, this is Laren speaking. We don't have the crystal, Leviathan's crystal of light in Mikatine possession. It's only Leviathan's crystal of darkness we have. We have no idea where her crystal of light is located. But we... What was that?
Her crystal of darkness.
Yeah, Mika turns to you.
Yeah, remember, each one of them has 2 crystals. One of light, one of dark.
Aye.
Does it matter which one we have? Can we contact them either way?
It doesn't matter. What ultimately the impact of that crystal is what powers any Eidolon summoned with it will have, and also the effects the crystal will have on the surrounding environment. I have not seen the Crystal of Darkness myself, and this is Tam speaking, of course, but what I understand of it is that, due to the nature of the element it emits, the laws of physics around it tend to break down a little bit. There are legends that the water runs along the walls and the ceilings in defiance of gravity in that ancient place. Of pearls that shine with light when none reaches them. Of coral reefs that have grown far beyond what they were normally would have been capable of, and with deliberate pathways.
But in lieu of the crystal of light's location, would that be our best bet to contact Leviathan?
You would be able to call upon her from it, yes. It contains 1/3 of her essence, as all of the crystals do for their respective deity.
What was the last known location of the crystal of light before it vanished?
It didn't vanish, Laren points out. We were simply never made aware of its location, because it doesn't fall within Mikatine borders. We stumbled across the water crystal of darkness quite by chance. It's the crystal of light. Its twin is somewhere else in the world, presumably still somewhere in the vicinity of this continent, but we have no idea where. And it's in our jurisdiction to try and figure that out. If Leviathan wanted us to know, she would have told
where's
us.
The dark crystal.
The dark crystal is located
Can
in
we
what
find the
is...
crystal of darkness?
The crystal of darkness is located in what is known as the Sunken Temple. It's just off of the landmass of Murasu, as a matter of fact. But as matters stand, I can't authorize its access just on my own. I need to get word back to Lirasai about this and get confirmation from them.
If they, in turn, want confirmation about our intent, they are free to contact what's the full the Confederacy of New Vatea, isn't it?
Yeah, the Confederacy of New Vatea, yeah.
They are free to contact the Confederacy of New Vatea.
Of course, but while I may be one of the youngest of the Isle Masters in Mikatai, I am no less heavily respected for, well, the plague and surviving it in the first place, so that hopefully won't be necessary. The time stop you might experience will be minimal at most.
That's fine. We were hoping to have a few days downtime anyway while we were trying to figure this out.
All right.
So other than reality warping, what else can we expect in this temple?
Well, the cave itself is... As I understand it, I haven't actually ventured in myself. It comes in multiple layers, so to speak. The entrance is disguised as an innocuous cave. But that cave is filled with dangerous creatures, angry water lizards and greater emirs, and there was even at one point a Hysnogwin, but it was later killed.
Look at you, talks Thanatos.
After that, presumably there is a whirlpool at the end of that cavern one descends to reach the lower levels. Beyond that, I have no idea. Whatever defenses exist down there, those are at the jurisdiction of Leviathan and the Crystal. Not me.
One way or another, we need to reach it. The gods need to be aware there was Bahamut all those uncountable years ago that slew Diablos originally. After all.
Right.
I think he missed a spot, though.
Well, somehow Diablos has gained the ability to bring back the dead. We've seen it before when he brought back Lazarus, Rocket's father, for killing him second time.
How was he able to do that? That's Tam sort of rubbing at his chin.
We're also under the impression that Murasan, Saran, whoever he may be, has been granted a portion of Diablos' power as an Eidolon.
Oh dear.
It would explain why Murasan was able to revive Lazarus in the first place. If that's a power Diablos holds, then any Eidolon of his would have that power too, albeit to a lesser extent.
His
Right.
general spectral nature is more indication that he was revived himself, which makes us think of Saran. Though the Murasan of old that founded this city, what can you tell me about him?
Laren leans back a bit. Interestingly enough, there isn't a whole lot known about him. The Mithra weren't the best at cataloging our history back then. It's mostly word of mouth that was later after generations of retellings transcribed, so the tale I tell you will probably be very different from the reality. Near as I can tell from what I've heard, he was... Well, first and foremost, he was a fantastic fisherman, had a keen eye for the waves, and was, while perhaps a little on the stern side, he was fair in his assessments of things, and the Mithra he led respected him highly, and he held his position of power far longer than most Isle Masters would. Eventually it was old age that claimed him.
That sounds very different from the Murasan we've met. I still find it quite likely that Saran merely took the name for his own. But we won't know for sure until we meet him again and see his face.
Ah, damn it. Messenger, no, be silent. Give me a second to turn off notifications on that. Come on, Windows, stop lagging.
I apologize.
There we go.
We do apologize for dropping in and bringing such dire news with us a second time.
Oh, no. It's fine. It's fine. If anything, it's good that we know this now. We can be better prepared to render aid. He turns to Tam. Tam, would you be so kind as to send word to Lirasai? You have a colleague there who can receive your messages, right? Tam nods. Of course. I'll go do that right now. If there's anything else, call on me. Right. And Tam turns and quickly shuffles out of the room.
We've met various people in varying nations who we are currently trying to coordinate with. What started here is rapidly spreading out towards the rest of the unknown continent. Even further than that, back home, I guess. To the continent beyond the Eastern Ocean. It's a lot.
Right.
It's big.
So it would seem. Well, we're happy to help in any way we can. Of course, you're welcome to some guest rooms here in the castle if you wish to stay. While we're waiting for word to get back from Lirasai. It might take a day or two.
That would be appreciated. Could you have Bernard tell his guards to keep an eye out for Murasan? Wherever we go, he does tend to follow.
Of course. What does he look like?
Mithra, blue robe, face hidden. He can also walk through walls. That's a pretty distinguishing feature.
Walk through walls. All right, I'll be sure to get word to him. Is there anything else?
For the time being, no.
All right.
That is the gist of most of our worldly problems.
And give us a few days, we'll probably have something happen.
Hope not. This city's had enough issues.
Who knows, maybe we can have another dragon.
I would rather not have a dragon near my city, thank you.
Oh, it's dead. Don't worry.
Oh, it never got into the city proper back in the day.
It tried. That was enough.
All right, well, if that'll be everything then, I don't think I'll keep you any longer. If you want to sit down and talk for a while, I'd be more than happy. But if you have any other business you wish to attend, then...
We'll be glad to catch up, though. You may notice Alistair is missing. He is to meet us outside the Whistler's Corner Inn and Tavern for old time's sake.
Do give him my regards, please.
We will. Oh, and when Tam returns... No, so Tam, what's Tam going to do again? He's going to send a message to Lirasai, hasn't he?
Yeah. He exited
when
the
Tam
room.
returns, can you tell him that I wish to thank him for his help back when I was here last? He pointed me in the right direction, and I managed to figure out my little issues.
I'll be sure to tell him that.
Also, we're trying to build a correspondence between the nations because we have reason to believe that Diabolos may be making his move soon.
Right.
And everyone's going to need to cooperate if anyone has any hope of survival.
Right. Well, I'll try to pass that word along to Lirasai myself when I get the chance, but I may be respected, but I'm still only the master of one island. My word only carries so much weight in global politics. Still, I'll do what I can to try and get the word out.
Also, you may be getting a visitor by the name of Elizabeth.
Is that so?
She
And
has
Kyra.
been brought up to speed on what's been going on, and her job is basically to go around to the places we've been and warn them and try to also correspond. That way, everyone's kind of on the same page when this happens.
Understood. As he's saying that, Mika sort of turns to your rocket.
Right. We should probably check in with them, shouldn't we? Elizabeth and Kyra, we have the book.
Yeah, we probably should and see how that progress is going. Let them know we're in Mikate.
Who has it on them?
I thought you had it.
No,
it was either Mika or Alistair.
I think it was Alistair. I mean, I know the last one to use it was you, Thanatos, but
Yeah,
I think Alistair has it. We'll convene with him and send out a message when we get to the Whiskers Corner.
All right. I'll take care of things here then in the meantime. Good luck and welcome back to the city.
It's a pleasure to be here. Just wish we were able to come for once without it being a calamitous event.
but then it wouldn't be any fun.
Speaking of fun, Maurice and Leyland, are they still working here?
Ah, yes, of course. Let me double check which one was younger and which one was older really quick.
Leyland was younger, Maurice was older.
Maurici's been doing a fine job serving as a castle servant, doing very fine work, cleaning things up. It's not the most glamorous job, but she's grateful for it, and we're glad to have her. She's very good at it.
You cut out when you said that. What happened?
Maurice is doing fine, working as sort of a general castle servant / maid kind of individual. Not the most glamorous or dignified of jobs, but she's happy to have it, and she's getting along fine.
And Leyland, she was still rather ill when I last saw her.
She took a little while to recover fully. She had been starving when she was brought into the castle, but she's made a good recovery and is... Well, she often will not shut up about all of you. She makes sure you are never far from our thoughts. And she often likes to play with this toy bow and arrow that Maurice bought her. The number of times I've found toy arrows plundered to their walls when I came in to speak with them and make sure they were all doing all right is, he sort of starts to count on his fingers for a second and then gives up. It's a lot.
And he scratches the back of her head. Oh, sure, but I loves that.
He doesn't.
How is the old bastard anyway?
He's still old and still a bastard, but he's still also damn good at his job, so about the same as usual. The scars on his face have healed up.
Was I right in the fact that his wife appreciated them?
I am not privy to the details of his love life. He likes to keep those things to himself, and rightly so. The old man carries himself with a lot of pride. The mushy stuff probably does not help that.
Well, we'll catch up more later, if that's alright with you, Lord Laren. We should go meet up with Alistair before he gets lost.
Right, I won't keep you. If you need anything else, you know where to find me. And he sort of respectfully nods his head at you guys.
And he returns it.
Alright. And I believe with that you guys take your leave, unless there's anything else anyone wants to say. No? Alright, then we'll move on. Alright, let's cut over to you, Alistair.